There's been something unusual going on in a whole lot of Major League Baseball stadiums this season. And it isn't baseball. At least, not exactly. It's banana ball. And if you've never heard of it, get ready for something, well, bananas. As we first reported this spring, it's a classic against the odds story. It started with a scrappy college summer league baseball team in Savannah, Georgia, lovingly named the Savannah Bananas, with an unorthodox owner who dreamed of making America's pastime livelier and more fun, with dancing players, trick plays, and nonstop entertainment for the fans. Think Harlem Globetrotters, only more so. Take a look.
Now Dan Overs. That one chopped up the middle.
It looks like baseball.
As DR takes off for second.
And feels like baseball. But then there's this. An umpire feeling the music? A batter on, stilts? Gymnastics in the outfield.
Catches the ball, are you kidding me?
And on the way home.
The Bananas have won the inning!
Banana Ball is the creation of Jesse Cole, who dresses in banana yellow daily.
Got those hands, here we go.
He's the owner and ringmaster of this circus. It's not baseball. Or is it baseball?
Obviously, it started from the idea of baseball, but now let's just turn it up a little bit.
Turning it up a little bit, Savannah Bananas style, means the show starts hours before the game, with fans and players dancing outside before the doors open. Then on the field, gymnasts, the Banana Splits, a dance team made up of grandmas, the Banana Nanas, and instead of cheerleaders, these guys, the Man Nanas.
It's all intentional. So this is the script.
You have a script?
There's almost 50 things that happen before the game starts.
The idea is to have something entertaining for everyone, like the 6-year-old leading a crowd warm-up, to appeal to all ages, baseball fans or not.
How long in the car? 10 hours. You drove here for 10 hours?
The game itself, between the Bananas and their main banana ball rivals, the Party Animals, also owned by Cole, is a real baseball competition with some rule twists. There's a 2-hour time limit, no mound visits, no walks or bunts, and if a fan catches a foul ball, it's an out.
What a snag by that guy!
Trick plays like between-the-leg throws to make an out and backflip catches are encouraged. And a few times a game, players go to bat with lip-synced, choreographed productions like this one featuring infielder Jackson Olsen. Longtime baseball writer Tim Kirchin came to a game and he said, "This is the stupidest thing I have ever seen. I loved it."
So grateful he finished with the I love it.
Exactly, right. But, there are people who would be offended that you're changing baseball.
I believe if you're not getting criticized, you're playing it too safe.
Safe isn't Jesse Cole's style. His early dreams of playing for his hometown Red Sox ended with a shoulder injury in college that sent him into coaching and a discovery he wasn't expecting.
I'm sitting in the dugout and I realize something. I'm bored out of my mind. And if I'm bored, there's got to be other people that are probably bored with baseball as well.
He got a job managing a failing college summer league team in Gastonia, North Carolina, called the Grizzlies, where he started shaking things up with dancing and silliness.
The first time I saw Jesse, he's the general manager of the team, keep in mind.
Emily McDonald was working for a minor league team in Augusta at the time.
He is on the field teaching his players how to do the Thriller dance.
So you got to get the arms into it, you got to get the head.
You said, "Oh, that guy's for me."
But we
Right
nailed
away.
that dance. We nailed that dance.
Emily joined the Grizzlies, and 3 years later,
Will you make me the luckiest guy in the world? Will you marry me, Emily?
joined Jesse permanently. And yes, he was already wearing that yellow tux, inspired by his idols, showmen P.T. Barnum and Walt Disney.
It's something I believe in. It's standing out, it's being different. And if your owner is dressed up in a yellow tuxedo, I mean, I think that gives permission to everyone else to not take themselves too seriously, to have fun.
Were you able to turn the Grizzlies around?
Yeah, from the team that was probably worst in the country in attendance, we climbed up to be 4th in the country in attendance.
But what about playing?
Oh, we won championships. When you have fun, you play better.
In 2015, the newlyweds launched the Bananas as a new college summer league team in Savannah, building fans with all-you-can-eat food and always upping the fun. They won titles, but something kept gnawing at Jesse. Some fans were leaving the stadium before the game was over. Even with everything going on?
It was eating me up inside, but then I realized that means there's a fundamental problem with the actual game.
He began videotaping the crowd and studying.
When are fans looking at their phones? When are they not paying attention to the game? Mound visits, batters stepping out, taking forever. All right, if you step out.
Oh, I hate that.
Yes.
And they play with their gloves.
And so we said, what are all the normal rules of a baseball game? What would be the exact opposite?
He started dreaming up ideas for a faster, more exciting game.
Think about this. In a baseball game, there's a play called a walk. It's unathletic. It's called a walk. So we said, what would be the exact opposite? A sprint.
And so was born the ball four sprint, where the batter takes off and can't be tagged out until every fielder has touched the ball.
He's going to be rewarded with 2 bases.
So now a walk becomes one of the most exciting plays in sports.
Bang, bang.
And then what about bunting? Now I know this is controversial, but if you bunt in banana ball, you're thrown out of the game.
What's wrong with bunting?
There's no bunting.
I like bunting.
Some traditionalists do. When I came up to the plate the first time as a 5-year-old, my dad said, Jess, swing hard in case you hit. And I believe in baseball, banana ball, come up and swing the bat, try to create something really special instead of the bunt.
So that first tryout,
Coaches Tyler Gillum and Adam Virant helped create the new game and recruit players to try it out. You were looking for really strong baseball players.
exclusively.
I was pushing a wheelbarrow full of concrete and my phone went off, and it was my mama.
Dakota Albritton had played high school baseball in his Georgia hometown, then got a job in construction.
She said, hey, we got a baseball tryout this weekend. I said, why'd you do that? You know, I ain't played ball in 2 years. She said, well, I told him you could walk on stilts. And with me not having any knowledge on what the Bananas was, I asked her again, well, why'd you do that? I hadn't done that in 10 years.
You hadn't walked on stilts in 10 years?
I had not walked on stilts in 10 years.
They'd been a Christmas present when he was 10.
As a matter of fact, on the way to tryouts, I realized that the straps that held them on my legs were dry rotted, and we stopped by Tractor Supply and got dog collars. They were held on my leg by dog collars.
He had played high school baseball, not the highest level, and he probably wasn't going to make the team. He said, I brought my stilts. Do you want me to wear them? And I said, nah, unless you can hit in them.
I said, heck yeah, I can. I got up there.
You had no idea.
I had no idea I could do it, but I wasn't going to back down from a challenge.
And the entire tryout stops.
I wonder why.
It's dead quiet.
Did you hit the ball?
I did. I surprised myself just as much as I surprised everybody else.
The coaches were still going to cut him till Jesse intervened.
Jesse says, guys, you don't see the vision. The vision is things being done on a baseball field nobody has ever seen.
Other players, like Robert Anthony Cruz, Rack for short, joined the Bananas with stronger credentials. He'd been signed by the Washington Nationals. This video of him sharing the news with his dad.
Oh my God, congratulations, son.
Went viral. But as with so many players,
1 year later, I got released by the Nationals, and my wife and I moved back in with my parents.
Bananas players told us they'd all dreamed of playing in the major leagues. Raise your hand.
Yeah.
When baseball didn't work, did you all think you were done?
Yeah, big time.
They say banana ball is a second life. They're still practicing that old game, plus one-upping each other on cool tricks and smooth moves. That elaborate batter walk-up routine, also part of afternoon practice.
Like literally like 4 hours before.
Oh my God. So in the middle of the afternoon, they are learning a dance for that night for the first time.
I mean, players, the talent level, they learn a tremendous amount of steps for about 20 minutes, 30 minutes rehearsal, and then they're doing it in front of a sold-out crowd.
And sometimes practicing in front of the crowd.
I remember looking at you and you were doing the dance too. You were trying to learn it. Like we're all trying to learn this stuff during the game.
Fresh.
Banana ball players have full-year contracts and are paid significantly more than most minor leaguers. Their salaries have risen every year, as has their fan base. This was the home stadium of the Philadelphia Phillies on a Saturday night last September. A completely sold-out, standing-room-only crowd of 45,000. It was one of 6 Major League Baseball stadiums the Bananas sold out last season, including Fenway Park. With clips of dances like this going viral, the Bananas now have more TikTok followers than all 12 of last year's MLB playoff teams combined. As in Savannah, crowds gather hours early. Banana Ball is now a multi-million-dollar private business. Jesse turns away investors. To build fans, he reinvests. He keeps ticket prices low, $60 max, and broadcasts all games free on YouTube.
What's up, guys?
Playing in an MLB stadium, players told us, is thrilling, even for someone already 10 feet tall.
Just this section right here is big as my whole entire hometown.
Stilts told us he'd be pitching this game.
Do you really throw strikes?
Oh, absolutely. It coming straight down like that, they got to hit it just perfect, or they're going to ground out or pop up.
Now coming to
And sure enough,
the world's tallest pitcher.
in the top of the 6th, facing the Party Animals version of a switch hitter,
He's going to show off his switch hitting skills.
there was one of those strikes.
Now a 3-2 count.
With the pressure on,
Bouncer grabbed 360. Olsen bounces it to first.
he got the 3rd out.
Stilts continues to shine.
Then in the bottom of the 7th, with a runner on first and the Bananas down by 1, Jackson Olsen took off on a ball 4 sprint. Then, with men on the corners, the former national signee, Rack, was up.
Uh-oh, Robert Anthony Cruz. See you later.
A 3-run homer. As far as we could see, nobody left early. This season, Banana Ball has officially become a league with 2 more teams, and they'll play not just at 17 MLB stadiums, but at 3 NFL football stadiums as well. Will you fill those stadiums?
They're sold out.
Already?
It's crazy.
All of it's crazy. Some might even say bananas.
America's future as a science leader may depend on students like the ones you're going to meet tonight, teenagers from Lambert High School in suburban Atlanta. They may have just found a better way to detect and treat Lyme disease, which affects nearly 500,000 Americans annually. Their primary tool, the revolutionary gene editing technique known as CRISPR. And these CRISPR kids did it to try to prove they are the best in the world, competing at a kind of science Olympics in Paris called iGEM, short for International Genetically Engineered Machine. But to win, they would have to go up against teams from China, the rising power in biotechnology. In Lambert High School's lab, Sean Lee and his classmates are teenage genetic engineers, manipulating the building blocks of life.
And what we're going to do is we're going to move each of these samples into these mixes. And these mixes have everything we need in order to amplify our DNA.
It's currently amplifying.
Yes.
All right.
And we'll have to do this 3 more times for our different samples.
So you would kind of swipe across.
We went to check out the iGEM team's project for the big Paris competition.
We first decided to map out where Lyme is most prevalent.
Their presentation seemed more like a pitch from a biotech startup than a public high school science class. Along with Sean, senior Avani Karthik is also a team captain.
And so it's a novel way of CRISPR that detects. And so we have to create a guide RNA. And when that guide RNA is recognized, the protein gets activated and it collaterally cleaves or cuts everything around it.
That just went right over my head. This is light years beyond my biology class, where the high point was dissecting frogs.
So you're just going to measure out 50.
This is called synthetic biology.
A popular example of synthetic biology is golden rice, where you're able to engineer this rice to have the specific vitamins that you want so that it's more nutrient dense.
And this would sound like cliche, but it's just endless possibilities. So you can just do whatever you want with it, as long as it's ethically correct.
To compete at iGEM, you need to use synthetic biology to solve real-world problems.
Lyme disease cases have doubled over the last decade.
These teens set their sights on finding a better way to detect and treat Lyme disease, something that has eluded adult scientists for decades. Transmitted by infected ticks, Lyme can cause arthritis, nerve damage, and heart problems if left untreated.
One of the biggest problems with Lyme is the lack of being able to diagnose it. So a lot of people will go years, we've met someone who went 15 years without a diagnosis.
Current tests make it difficult to detect Lyme in the first 2 weeks when it's easiest to treat. Lambert's big idea for better and earlier detection was to zero in on a protein generated by the infection. And this is the process where you work with CRISPR.
Yes.
Using the gene editing tool CRISPR and a simulated blood serum, they were able to target specific DNA strands where the protein hides, then snip away extraneous genetic material to expose the protein, enabling them to detect it with a simple kit-style test like a COVID or pregnancy strip. Did you guys ever think, this is way above my abilities, way above my area of knowledge, or you just dive right in?
Yeah, so actually we did reach out to a bunch of different professors and stakeholders who gave feedback on our project, and they did tell us in the beginning that this might not be so feasible because you're trying to tackle such a big thing.
They were also tackling how to treat Lyme. Standard therapy uses antibiotics, but Lambert planned to use CRISPR instead, targeting the bacteria that causes the disease. To make it work, they had to build software to model how best to use CRISPR. So as a teacher, is it easy to teach them because they're so smart?
They teach me. Are you kidding? They are so smart that I can't keep up.
Kate Scherer is their biotechnology teacher.
Because they are still teenagers, so they're thinking so far out of the box. This project in particular, I warn them this is very high risk, high reward. I can't imagine any of this working, but I'm happy to help you as much as I can.
Oh my God.
Lambert's team had advantages beyond audacity and brainpower. Their lab is college level, funded by taxpayers and donors. This is one of Georgia's most affluent, high-achieving school districts. The student body is majority Asian American. The iGEM team is entirely Asian American, children of immigrants. Lambert also is a sports juggernaut. You can't miss the signs. But the white iGEM lab coat might be the most coveted uniform of all. I understand that parents move to this district so their kids can get into the iGEM program. And not just from Georgia, but from around the world.
Yes. And there are families that move specifically thinking that, well, my kid will be in biotech and then they'll have a chance to try out for the iGEM team.
About 100 students compete for roughly 10 spots on Lambert's iGEM team each year. Applicants submit a project proposal, take a test, and face an interview. Having a special skill like engineering or coding doesn't hurt, and you have to be willing to put in insanely long hours.
I need that to work.
With a month to go, they hit a string of successes. That stripe showed they could detect Lyme as early as 2 days after infection, far sooner than the 2 weeks with existing tests. Senior Claire Lee told us they also saw promising results in treating the disease. Doctors will be able to use this to identify Lyme disease and perhaps treat Lyme disease.
That's the goal.
What do you think of that?
We're doing something in our high school lab that could potentially have a huge impact for like millions of people. It's not like we're just saying like, oh, I'm just doing this little thing that like it might help my grade. This thing could help save lives.
What they found is just the first step. Much more testing will be needed. But they had more immediate concerns. They raced to finish before the international competition in Paris, pulling all-nighters to write results, code, and build a website explaining their project for the iGEM judges. It takes all that to be best in the world, the award Lambert won in 2022. Why do you do it?
I like to win, and so a lot of this is a competition, so I like to win.
You think you have a really good chance?
I think it depends on what the other teams bring.
Hopes were high as the Eiffel Tower when the students from Atlanta landed in Paris at the end of October. More than 400 teams, a third of them high schoolers, were competing in iGEM 2025. Elite synthetic biology with a dash of nerd-proud culture.
My first time coming here, I was so overwhelmed.
This was Avani Karthik's third year at iGEM, and she was keeping an eye on the other teams.
Is there a project here that has blown your mind?
Almost every single one.
One was just a few feet away from their booth, Great Bay in Shenzhen, China. Great Bay's project developed a new enzyme for treating indoor mold. Other high school projects included designing crops to grow on Mars and eye drops to treat cataracts. As iGEM teams filled the floor this year at the Paris Convention Center, one thing was easy to see.
In the United States this year, we have 14 high school iGEM teams. Asia has 120.
Janet Standevan runs iGEM's International High School Division. Before this, she taught at Lambert, created its iGEM program, and helped it win the grand prize in 2022. Are you thinking to yourself, this needs to be in every school?
Yes. Oh, that's been our goal since day one, is let's start with Georgia as a little test bid and see what we can do here.
She left Lambert 3 years ago after securing federal funding to take synthetic biology to high schools all across Georgia. But the Trump administration cut the money, claiming it fell under DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion. A judge temporarily restored the funding, but Standevan told us she's not sure it will extend beyond 2026. What did you think when your funding got cut?
I was devastated, absolutely devastated. I was angry. And again, I think anybody that's involved in this work at the high school level realizes this is necessary work.
In Paris, Lambert presented its work on stage.
Caused by the genus Borrelium, Lyme is transmitted through the bites of infected ticks.
And behind closed doors, the team dressed up to meet a panel of judges, answering questions about their lab work and its real-world implications. Is this what you imagined it would be 20 years ago?
Hard to imagine this.
Stanford professor Drew Endy was one of iGEM's founders. Back in the early 2000s, Endy was at MIT teaching genetic engineering, and his students had a competitive streak.
So we started iGEM because the people who wanted to work with us were the 18-year-olds.
iGEM thrived as biotech boomed. But Endy warned Congress America's lead in the field is slipping, while China has made synthetic biology a national priority. How concerned are you that there are not more American participants in iGEM?
I mean, it's profound concern. It's urgent that leadership of the next generation of biotechnology has a strong presence in America and is represented by young American leaders.
Endy was encouraged by the work done by the team from Georgia and wanted to know more.
Like, how do you deliver it?
Yeah, so we want to deliver it through lipid nanoparticles.
Endy echoed what other scientists told us, that Lambert's project could be a major scientific breakthrough if further testing pans out.
This year, they appear to have developed a better diagnostic for Lyme disease than anything I've seen before. It's not only applicable to Lyme disease, but anything you could find in your blood.
As groundbreaking as their lab work was, Avani Karthik knew Lambert was being judged on everything, from their website to their software.
How do you think you're going to do?
I'm hoping we finish top 10, but even that, I don't know. We'll see.
That would be top 10 out of 140 teams.
Fingers crossed, arms
so
crossed,
knock on wood.
Knock on wood, everything.
We're here to celebrate each and every one of you for all of your hard work, creativity, and enthusiasm.
On iGEM's final day, it was time to see what a year of work had earned Lambert High School.
The nominees are?
It was a nail-biter. They were nominated in 5 different categories and kept getting edged out. They didn't win the grand prize. That went to China's Great Bay.
So the winners are?
But there was joy. They got to storm the stage for Best Software Tool.
Congratulations, great job, great job.
We thought our project was amazing.
Hold on just a minute. Your project was amazing.
We're very proud of it, but it's what the judges think at the end of the day.
You're in the top 10.
Yes.
In the world.
Yes.
Lambert was the only American school to finish in the high school top 10, along with 1 team from South Korea, 1 from Taiwan, and 7 from China. The spot where the Columbia River spills into the Pacific Ocean at the border between Oregon and Washington State is where Lewis and Clark ended their journey of discovery in 1805, with Clark writing in his journal, "Ocean in view, oh joy." But it's not all joy. In fact, it's one of the most dangerous inlets in America. Up to 1 million cubic feet of water can pour out of the river's mouth every second and run right into waves that have been moving across the Pacific for thousands of miles. As we first reported last fall, it's precisely because of this powerful aquatic collision that elite members of the United States Coast Guard come to this place once each year, determined to earn the coveted certification as surfmen.
On the bow.
Here comes a big one.
Touch your head. On the starboard.
On a wet February afternoon, we're on board a 47-foot U.S. Coast Guard motor lifeboat with Chief Eric Kelly at the helm, driving through breaking surf barely 100 yards off the beach.
I have another swell right up here.
And another one right behind there.
Exactly.
At the time, Kelly was chief instructor at the Coast Guard's National Motor Lifeboat School. This was the first day of class, and the 3 students on his boat were studying his every turn of the wheel and calling out approaching swells.
Got a saddle, starboard bow. Touch your head.
6 more trainees were on 2 other boats with other instructors. Kelly says everyone is here because this place, at the mouth of the Columbia River, consistently has some of the worst weather and highest seas in America.
We exposed them to a tremendous amount of surf conditions over 4 weeks, more so than they'd get over years at their own unit.
Morning, shipmates. How are we?
First thing that morning, Tim Crochet, commanding officer of the lifeboat school, had welcomed this class of 9 students.
And I promise you the instructors behind me are going to give you world-class instruction, and they're going to help you become a better motor lifeboat operator, and we're going to get you closer and closer to certifying as a surfman.
Certifying as surfmen. That's the goal of each of these students and the dream of thousands of other members of the Coast Guard.
Being a surfman is sometimes compared to being a Navy SEAL or in the Army Special Forces. But in truth, this is a more exclusive club, isn't it?
Currently, we have about 130 active duty surfmen right now.
How many members of the Coast Guard?
I think the Coast Guard's right around 40,000 people.
40,000 people and 100 surfmen. So that is a pretty exclusive club.
It is. There's a small number of us.
Certifying as a surfman means the Coast Guard trusts you to drive a lifeboat on the most challenging rescue missions in 20-foot breaking waves and 50-knot winds. At the entrance to the school is a display of every surfman medallion called a check ever earned.
So how far back does this go?
It goes back to 1872.
That's when the U.S. Life-Saving Service began saving mariners in distress. It became the Coast Guard in 1915 and now operates 20 surf stations where rescues may have to be made in breaking waves. On average, the Coast Guard makes more than 5,000 rescues a year.
Where is yours?
Mine is right back here. It's check number 407.
Chief Instructor Eric Kelly, whose boat we were on, wears his surfman number.
I understand you have a tattoo.
I do. I have my surfing number. I'm surfing 545. This is something that is very, very important to me.
At the opening session of the Motor Lifeboat School, Chief Kelly read the Coast Guard's Surfman's Creed aloud.
I will never unnecessarily jeopardize myself, my boat, or my crew, but will do so freely to rescue those in peril.
And he told the students they'd each need to have the creed memorized before the 4-week course was over.
It takes a lot to get there, and it takes a person, a special type person, willing to put themselves into those situations where you're looking up at a 20-foot breaking sea and you're like, I want to do this. I want to keep training in this.
This class was all male, but there are nearly a dozen female surfmen. Most candidates come here first for a basic course, then heavy weather, and finally this surf class. Derek Samuelson, Trenton Campbell, and Joshua Slaughter are the 3 trainees on Eric Kelly's boat.
Most of us are going to be pushing pretty close to 4 years when we get certified. That's almost a college degree worth of training in driving these boats.
It's something not a lot of people get to do.
It's not that they get to do it, but that they achieve it.
That they achieve it, yes.
Yeah.
When we come here, our only job is to learn and drive in the surf, so it's a great opportunity.
This is a representation of the mouth of the Columbia.
Jeff Smith is the curator of the Columbia River Maritime Museum, which has a giant map illustrating how the mouth of the Columbia River has earned the title Graveyard of the Pacific.
All these little boats that you see are representative of the shipwrecks that have occurred.
All of these?
Yeah. And this we have 50 of them numbered, but there's many, many more.
Thousands more over several centuries, with at least 700 lives lost. The skeletons of wrecked ships still litter some area beaches.
So despite how treacherous this waterway is, it's a vital economic waterway as well.
It certainly is. Of all the grain exported from the United States, just over 40% goes out the Columbia River.
Every commercial ship coming into the river must have a local pilot come on board to guide it. This video shows how perilous it can be just to get that pilot onto one of those ships. Imagine the dangers faced by Coast Guardsmen trying to rescue a ship or sailboat or fishing boat that's in trouble.
I'm always a little bit, I don't know if starstruck is the word or awestruck when I'm in the presence of the men and women of our Coast Guard, because the job they do is just amazing. It's incredible. An incredible group of people.
It's such a cool mission that we get to do. Like, we get to go drive these awesome boats out and have the opportunity to save people in their darkest day.
As he drove into ever stormier seas on that first day of school, it was clear Eric Kelly would rather be at the helm of his lifeboat than just about anywhere else.
So you love this, huh?
I absolutely love this.
But Kelly was also deadly serious about teaching his students how to read every swell.
Watch that. Run from that. Run in center of that hill. I'm going. They got that beat. Got a window right here. Nice little near side shoulder. Easing off. Watch that coming to me. I'm going to get right on the back. Full. Follow that peak point. This is going to get super dynamic down here. These are shooting in every direction.
When he couldn't outrun a wave, Kelly executed what may be the most important maneuver a lifeboat driver must master.
Nowhere to go, squaring up.
Squaring up is pointing the bow of the boat directly into and through a breaking wave, sometimes a really big breaking wave.
We hit a couple of those yesterday where we got the spray
Absolutely.
and you went up and the bow was up and you saw blue sky and then all of a sudden you're down in a hole. What's the worst thing you could do in a situation like that?
The worst thing you could do is not be square to that breaking wave. You could have a knockdown, which is when the boat goes underneath water but rewrites in the same direction, or even worse, a 360-degree rollover.
Have you ever experienced that yourself?
I haven't experienced the full 360-degree rollover. I have experienced a knockdown or two, and that's what they designed this boat for.
That design is seen in this demonstration video, but out in the surf, Eric Kelly was showing his students how to avoid ever having to test it on a real mission.
How long before you let the students take control of the boat?
So starting tomorrow, we'll do another demonstration of wherever we're going to train, and then students are on it for the remainder of the course. Hold on.
Whoa!
Every day for the next 4 weeks, the students took the helm, with Eric Kelly signaling approval when they did something right and correcting them when they didn't.
We probably should have squared up to that one, but on the bow, guys.
Students drove in every kind of condition and ran simulated missions like pulling someone, in this case a dummy, out of the water.
Nice reach, Josh. Get him on board. Don't play it off. Don't play it off. Yep. All right, stand by to clear the recess.
Sometimes a real rescue mission can supplant the simulations, as when the boats were making one last training run on graduation day 2023.
Mayday, mayday. Sure enough, we heard a mayday for distress go out over channel 16, the radio frequency.
I think I might be taking on water. Hurry up.
By the time the 3 training boats spotted a white boat called the Sandpiper with 1 man on board, conditions had gone from mild to mad.
And at this point, we're facing 25, 30-foot, 35-foot breaking seas, 50 knots of winds. It's raining, hailing, and very, very dynamic.
Far too dynamic to have any chance of towing the vessel to safety. It was also graduation day for the Coast Guard's Advanced Rescue Helicopter School, and they dropped a rescue swimmer named Jon Wertheim into the water. You can see him paddling furiously.
It was his first rescue, and they deployed him, and he was able to retrieve that individual off the Sandpiper right as that 30-plus foot break rolled that boat multiple times.
It's hard to imagine how either the rescued or the rescuer survived that, but they both did.
But really seeing how the Coast Guard work together and have one of the coolest rescues I've had in my entire career.
On graduation day.
On graduation day for these future surfmen.
Graduation day for the class of 2024 was far more placid. All 9 students completed the course, and all 9 had memorized the Surfman's Creed.
I will, to the best of my ability, pursue each mission with the commitment, compassion, and courage inherent in the title Surfman.
They didn't all certify as surfmen that day. Most had to wait to return to their home units for their commanding officers to give them the nod. But 2 of the 9 got a surprise.
BM2 Casey, BM2 Campbell, front and center, please.
Dorian Casey and Trenton Campbell had their commanding officers in attendance, ready to bestow the honor then and there. It seemed every certified surfman on the West Coast had come, and they handed the coveted medallions, those checks, to one another.
Surfer 494, Station Clear River. 485, Station Morro Bay.
484, Station Humboldt Bay.
450, Station Clear River.
407, Station Chetco River.
And then to the 2 newest surfmen. Trenton Campbell accepted hugs from his trainers and fellow classmates, and then headed back to his base, Station Quileute River on the coast of Washington, ready to do what he joined the Coast Guard to do.
The reason why we all want to be here is that dream to save a life. I think there's no better feeling than that. We're training for the opportunity to save a human life. It's all the motivation you need.
With more than 150 million copies sold in 40 languages, Guinness World Records is one of the best-selling books in history. In it, you'll find the shortest, tallest, and fastest, alongside jaw-dropping human feats and 8th grade bathroom humor. Some achievements are so over the top, it was hard to keep a straight face during interviews for this story. But behind the spectacle is a meticulous system of British auditing. So strict, it has crushed many more record attempts than it has certified. Even if what you see defies belief, you can trust that if it made it into the book, it is real. And as Guinness World Records declares, officially amazing.
Are you ready?
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling pumped.
Yeah?
Yeah.
For Colin Kaplan, the stakes couldn't be higher.
Not in my wildest dreams could I have ever thought that I would be doing anything like this.
After a year of planning, he's about to find out if his city, New Haven, Connecticut, can eat its way into history by hosting the world's largest pizza party.
Let's get some pizza!
Kaplan, a local historian and food tour guide, is so obsessed with pizza, last year he chartered a jet to Washington and got his congresswoman to declare New Haven the pizza capital of America.
New Haven pizza capital, baby!
Is this a serious endeavor?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it is. I'll tell you what, it seems light and fun, but it's serious in a sense of what's on the line.
What's on the line is the glory of a Guinness World Record, and people will do just about anything to get one.
Humans are such an interesting bunch, aren't we? And record breaking is an innately human thing. And if that means you do strange things like swallowing sausages whole or climbing Everest or running a marathon with a milk bottle on your head, then that's fine, that's great.
Craig Glenday has been the book's editor-in-chief for the past 21 years.
I really like that, so I think we want more of that.
In his signature Scottish accent, he recounts with a straight face what is often a circus of absurdity.
You know, we get things like fastest time to run around my garden playing the banjo with a snake on my head. It's like, next. They get a nice letter of like, thank you, but no thank you.
Cutest babies and cutest dogs don't make the cut either. Records must meet strict criteria. They have to be filmed from multiple angles, verified by independent eyewitnesses, and measured with precision. Each year, Guinness World Records receives roughly 50,000 applications, but as many as 95% get rejected. The largest number of submissions come from the United States.
One of my favorite days in the job was I was at the X Games at the Staples Center in LA, and a dog zipped past me on a skateboard. And despite the heat, I chased after this dog, and I found the owner and said, I've never seen a dog on a skateboard. And he said, oh, this is Tillman. He loves skateboarding. I had a tape measure. We measured out 100 meters of the car park at the Staples Center, and we set the record there and then, because I was so amazed by it.
Do you just walk through the world with a tape measure in your pocket?
Well, I do usually. Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah, I have a tape measure and a stopwatch, because you never know.
Many of the record holders you know. Usain Bolt for the fastest 200 meters, Beyoncé for the most Grammys, and many you've probably never even imagined.
Go.
Like serial record breaker David Rush, an Idaho tech worker who has broken more than 350 records and counting, including most bites taken from 3 apples while juggling for a minute.
Just past the 2-mile mark.
And most t-shirts worn during a half marathon. And Monsieur Mange Tout. That's Mr. Eats Everything in French. He held the record for the world's strangest diet.
The guy who'd, he'd supposedly eaten a Cessna because he could eat metal and glass.
A Cessna plane?
Well, apparently it took him 2 years. We couldn't quite
Doesn't
give
sound
him...
very healthy.
Well, I mean, his wife wouldn't let him use the toilet at home because if he'd been eating metal, it tends to come out like bullets and it would chip the porcelain, so he'd have to use a hotel with metal toilets near his house.
This is the craziest interview I've ever done. Just saying.
Sorry.
I'm sorry. Go back to what you were
Yeah.
saying, that when you...
I mean, for me, it's every day, so I don't quite get it, but yeah, okay. He could do glass and metal. He couldn't do chains, but to meet him was a real honor for me because he was like a childhood hero for me.
You must get this question all the time. Why?
Why? I mean, it's different for everyone. Everyone has a different reason. Some just want fame. Some want to be in print. We do validate people that do things that others might seem a bit weird, like eating aircraft and stuff. So
Do you not see that as weird?
I mean, I see it as really interesting.
I gotta tell you, I thought it would be a little crazier in here. Inside the company's London headquarters, Glenday keeps a cabinet of greatest hits.
It's Craig's cabinet of Curie oddities.
Like the world's smallest playing cards and a giant size 29 shoe. My arm. I'm like the Vanna White of oddities here. What is this?
If you have a little investigation of that, it's the world's oldest vomit.
Vomit?
Vomits about
You got me on that one.
160. It doesn't smell, and it's obviously petrified. You know,
Not everyone chooses to break records. I'm 5'10", so what was she?
she's just on 7 foot.
The tallest and shortest people often have had genetic conditions. The woman with the longest fingernails, 43 feet, hasn't cut them since her daughter, who painted her nails, passed away in 1997. So she still holds the record?
Still has the record, and I think that's the longest ever measured.
The idea for the book began during a hunting trip at this country estate in Ireland, where the manager of the Guinness brewery got into an argument over who could name the fastest game bird in Europe. To settle future pub debates, he commissioned a book of superlatives, which eventually became the Guinness World Records. The first one was published in 1955.
The initial reaction from the book trade was not that positive. In the first sales meeting ever, the salesperson wrote 6 on the slip, and they said, "What, do you mean 6,000? 600? I said, no, 6.
They just wanted 6?
6 for the whole country.
Copies?
Yeah. By the end of the week, it was like 10,000.
They sold that quickly.
And it was just blew up.
70 years later, it's still a hit at school book fairs, but today the name Guinness World Records is synonymous with viral stunts that become clickbait gold. Is Google your biggest competition? I could pull my phone out right now and search the world's fastest bird.
You might as well open the window and shout your question into the street, and you'll get an answer, yeah, but is it the right one? Well, I can say I know Sultan Kosen's 8'3" because I was there with the tape measure. I measured him.
He's also measured the shortest person, who he learned about after a woodcutter passed through a remote village in Nepal and alerted the team at Guinness World Records.
So it was confidence enough for me to then go to Nepal.
You get on a flight and go to Nepal to measure this person?
Yeah. And we would never have known about him had that woodcutter not gone through the village that day and sent us the video footage.
And then there are the rules. So rigid they've sparked office debates over who makes the cut for the largest gathering of people dressed as Smurfs.
So it's like, okay, well, what is a Smurf? What do they wear? Do they all have blue skin? Yes. You know, you might have to write guidelines for any possible topic. So we've got this huge big book of experts, you know, from archaeologists
to Smurfs.
To Smurfologists, yeah, I don't know if that's a thing. But, you know, like we've got a myrmecologist, which...
What is that?
Myrmecologist, an ant expert. So if we've got a question about what's the most dangerous ant...
Quick, get the myrmecologist online.
So you get like, we've just found this big ant. Is it the biggest?
For large events like the New Haven Pizza Party,
I am today's official Guinness World Records adjudicator, so I'm basically the judge.
Guinness World Records sometimes sends an adjudicator responsible for enforcing the rules from headquarters.
You're going to write how many people you disqualified. Hopefully that is a nice big round 0.
Thomas Bradford is one of 81 adjudicators the company employs across 6 continents. His day job is as a performer at Disney, but when it's go time, he puts on his trademark blue jacket.
The largest gathering of people dressed as dinosaurs was one of my favorite events. And you kind of expect people to just come in the classic, you know, inflatable T-Rex costume.
What do they come in?
Diplodocus, Triceratops, like you name it, we had it.
Legit gear.
Everything. I had to turn away people that were dressed as Godzilla, because Godzilla is not a dinosaur.
How do you break it to a dinosaur in a bad costume that they don't qualify?
You kind of just have to play the role. I think my accent helps, and there is a level of, authority that comes from a British
School
accent.
principal.
Very much that. The largest pizza party is probably the most competitive record that I've ever been a part of.
Is that true?
I didn't think it would be it's a lot, yes.
They stressing you out?
This is probably one of the most stressful record attempts I've had.
Colin Kaplan needs 3,358 people to show up in order to beat the current record.
You want to beat Tulsa?
We're going to beat Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Participants get 15 minutes to eat 2 slices of pizza and drink a bottle of water. But here's the catch. They have to stay until the party is officially over, and
they must eat the entire pizza. No one can leave their crusts. They have to eat the crust.
what makes a pizza party like this so difficult?
People. Yeah. It's, you don't know if they're going to stay for 15 minutes. They might wait for 14 and be like, I'm fine. You're disqualified if you leave after 14 minutes, So that's, the people is the toughest thing.
This official Guinness World Records attempt has begun!
At first, it was slow going.
What if not enough people show up, or have you guys already accounted?
But then, in came the pizza-obsessed college students, children, those in their finest pepperoni attire.
It's 10,000 slices, which is 625 pizzas in about 3.5 hours.
Kaplan's pursuit of a record didn't come cheap. Brands and businesses chasing titles for marketing must pay fees. He said he paid nearly $30,000 and fundraised 6 figures to cover all the costs, including 8 ovens and all that cheese.
There you are. Thank you so much.
When Thomas Bradford wasn't busy being a celebrity, he and a group of 100 volunteers kept the tally.
Only 2 didn't finish? Yes. 1 left? Perfect, okay.
With an hour to go,
It's gonna go to the wire, I think. It's gonna be close.
Kaplan was still trying to make the pie calculations add up.
We could actually feed 1,800 people starting at 6 o'clock still.
Okay,
and that
okay.
means that we could 100% beat the record and almost get to 5,000.
So did they? Finally, the verdict.
And now, New Haven is home to the world's largest pizza party.
4,525 people gathered for a new Guinness World Record.
Congratulations, New Haven. You are all officially amazing.
And a slice of history.
Human beings are innately the same everywhere. They are really, because they're trying to get through from birth to death and have as much fun and enjoy life and get all the experiences that you can. And we see this every day. The world is full of these amazing, fun things if you just look in the right place.
Indiana is the setting for 3 all-time great sports movies, Hoosiers, Rudy, and Breaking Away. And now comes another cinematic underdog story set in the state, except this one is unscripted. Over the last century, defeat has been the near-constant companion of Indiana University football. But then arrived a new coach who'd never gotten a shot at the big time. He brought new players, a new energy, and cue music. Suddenly, Hoosier Hysteria reigns as top-ranked Indiana is the unlikely darling of college football. The Hoosiers are undefeated, just upset powerhouse Ohio State, and might win a national championship before the credits roll. They come from the cities and they come from the smaller towns. More than 55,000 fans converging on Bloomington to watch the Indiana Hoosiers. Built from limestone extracted from local quarries, Memorial Stadium is 65 years old. But this is a completely new look. Home to a football dynamo. Indiana had always been a basketball school. No longer. This season, the Hoosiers have won at home.
Here comes the
and on the road.
Throws to the corner, touchdown, Surratt.
They've won in blowouts and won with their season on the brink.
In trouble! It's out! Touchdown! Wow!
This game-winning touchdown against Penn State stands as the play of the year in college football. And they're hardly doing it with prized recruits.
I think a lot of people on our team, whether it's coaches, players, or staff, have all been overlooked.
You say outcasts and transfers and rejects. You guys are doing pretty well.
Well, I wouldn't say we're like for sure outcasts and rejects. I think we're all still really, really good football players here.
That's Fernando Mendoza, Indiana's star quarterback. He's come to embody the team. A few years ago, he was a middling Miami high school player. Just last night, he won the Heisman Trophy, the first in IU history. Can you pause for a second and admire the story?
Human nature is like, wow, like how did I get here? And there's a little bit of an imposter syndrome from that point. Whoa, am I supposed to be here? I was a 2-star recruit. I wasn't a 5-star who's supposed to be in this position, who's supposed to be on the #1 team in the nation.
Talk about your imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
Gone. Does the program still have imposter syndrome?
I think that we believe. We believe.
The belief has been hard-won. Indiana entered this season as the losingest program in major college football history, more than 700 defeats.
Surratt, corner! Touchdown, Indiana!
So imagine the astonishment last weekend when Indiana took down the defending national champion, undefeated Ohio State, to win the Big Ten title. The previous time Indiana was conference champion, 1967. Paint the picture of IU football the first 50 years you've been doing this job.
I'd say up and down, except that most of it's been down.
40, 35, down to the 30.
Don Fisher has been the voice of Indiana football since 1973.
This is the greatest turnaround, and I hate that word because I don't think it expresses really what these last 2 seasons have been like here in Indiana.
Turnaround doesn't do enough lifting. It's even bigger than that.
No, it's not. It's not a good enough term.
So I'm thinking Peyton Manning wins a Super Bowl like an hour up the road. You've got Notre Dame. I mean, football is not an alien sport to Indiana.
Right.
Why did it seem so hard to unlock it here?
A big problem for Indiana was we could not recruit offensive and defensive linemen.
Big boys.
The big guys. We just didn't have very many of them. And football here was not a big sport. It just hadn't clicked as a football place.
Was there one low moment?
Oh, I don't know if there was one.
Here's one. It's Indiana legend, but the charismatic coach at the time, Lee Corso, confirms it to us. In a 1976 game, lowly Indiana took an early 7-6 lead over mighty Ohio State. So unexpected that Corso burned a timeout for the purpose of commemorative photos. When the game ended, Indiana still had 7 points. Ohio State had 47. One diehard fan in attendance that afternoon, John Mellencamp, Bard of Indiana, who's been going to Hoosier games ever since his father took him as a kid. In the 90s, he funded this indoor practice facility in hopes it would lure recruits. You've been a fan for like 50 years. You're not a bandwagon guy.
No, I've been around through thick and thin.
How thin did it get?
Pretty thin.
He says that for years, the tailgates drew more interest than the actual games. You're going to these football games, and the stadium's half full, and fans are leaving at halftime.
Whoa. They're not even half full.
Less than half full.
Yeah, less than half full. I mean, like, if this is the stadium, there's just like a few people up here.
In 2023, yet another dismal season, the team finished 3-9. And the athletic director, Scott Dolson, set out in search of answers. What was the hole you had to fill?
I think certainly the right coach is the biggest hole to fill.
As he scoured for candidates, he had some non-negotiables.
We wanted an existing head coach. We wanted a coach who was offensive-minded, who had developed quarterbacks.
So the slick offensive coordinator at the big school, that's not who you wanted?
No, we really felt having that head coach experience was really important.
Dolson went off the board and settled on a little-known lifer who'd won relentlessly, but also been overlooked relentlessly. So 2 years ago, when Curt Cignetti's name surfaces as a candidate, what'd you know about him? Anything?
Nothing.
You've been covering college football for more than 50 years, and you'd never heard his name before.
Never heard his name. And when he became the hire, I was surprised by it, but then I looked him up a little bit. I Googled him.
You Googled him?
Yes, I did.
That was a direct order from the new coach.
How do you sell your vision of your culture?
Mere weeks on the job, tired of the who are you questions, Curt Cignetti dropped his usual modesty and said this.
It's pretty simple. I win. Google me.
Here's what Googling would have revealed. Cignetti pinballed around the country's sidelines. Once an assistant for Nick Saban at Alabama, he left the big time to take head coaching jobs at smaller schools like Elon University and James Madison. When Indiana called, Cignetti was well beyond the usual sell-by date for a maiden job at this level. You've had terrific success wherever you've been, but at age 62, this was your first Power 4 big-time job. Did you come in here with a bit of a chip on your shoulder?
The chip probably came from when I got here right away. I detected an atmosphere that you can't get it done here.
You sense that?
Oh, absolutely. As soon as I walked in the building. Facilities that had been neglected, the stadium banners that looked old, the offices that looked like they were from 1980, and then, just the general attitude of the people I met, the lack of excitement.
Coming from a winning program, he was, well...
I was furious, pretty much, because all we did was win conference championships year in, year out as a staff.
At your old school.
Yeah, and I mean, we win. And so it was a clashing of two worlds, and I wasn't going to lower my standards.
It erupted when Cignetti was first introduced to fans at an Indiana basketball game.
Purdue sucks! But so does Michigan and Ohio State! Go IU!
As the kids say, shots fired.
I had to see if the fans were dead or just on life support. I had to wake them up and set an expectation and create some buzz and excitement.
Think they woke up?
A little bit.
Get locked in, good warm-up.
The irony, Cignetti is skeptical of anything resembling look at me. He may be from Pennsylvania, but his temperament is pitch perfect for southern Indiana. He's measured, he commands respect. His fallback language is coach speak. Coaches aren't in the habit of sharing the playbook, but what is the magic here?
There's no magic here. It's fundamentals. I would like to think the leader, which is me, knows what he's doing and has a blueprint and a plan. Create the intangibles on your football team, the culture, the mindset, the philosophy on how you want to play.
Under Cignetti, the program is unrecognizable. The last 2 seasons, Indiana's gone 24-2 without losing a home game. That's the what. The how is more complicated. It starts with the coach, not just his eye for recruiting talent, but his ability to develop it once it arrives. Based on what he's seen from his perch, a shack atop the stadium press box where he can smoke, John Mellencamp has his own explanation for Cignetti's success.
He does not show emotion.
He's not emotional.
Not outwardly. John, I've made my worst decisions being emotional. And I bet you have too.
The poise of Cignetti and the turnaround he's orchestrated, it makes for a hell of a Cinderella story. But this is also a story about contemporary college sports. Indiana's rise has been helped by new rules. Athletes are now able to enter the so-called transfer portal and switch schools at will. Cignetti fortified the roster by bringing 13 players with him from James Madison. Fernando Mendoza played at Cal Berkeley last season. Then there's the money. College players now can be paid for the licensing of their name, image, and likeness, and starting this year, they can get a cut of team revenue. Mendoza is reported to be making $2 million this season.
I wrote a paper in high school saying why NCAA athletes should not be able to get paid.
Should not be.
It should not be. And then now I'm contradicting myself as I'm getting paid now. So there's so many different dynamics that were never there in college football. And I think that's why you see so many teams either rising or fizzling just because of the new structure. Whether it's people talking about compensation in the locker room, which is either uniting or dividing a locker room. Whether it's people going to not only 1 or 2 schools, like myself, going to 4 schools. I mean, you see coaches leaving mid-season. It's chaos.
In 2024, thanks partially to donors, including IU alum Mark Cuban, Indiana spent more than $60 million on football alone. This as the school is cutting academic jobs and programs. There are people who will say, wait a second, these are tough times for colleges and universities, and you've got $50-60 million being spent on one sport. That doesn't make sense.
So certainly the market is what the market is, and it costs a lot of money. but we earn that money, we make it through our revenue streams, and at the same time, people understand if we can get football going, the impact and the consequences for the rest of the university are significant.
You can have all the marketing meetings you want and changing logos and uniforms, but winning games is what's going to do it.
Absolutely. And I've joked before, if I'd have known that winning consistently would have that impact, we should have tried that a long time ago.
Big Ten champion, Indiana Hoosiers.
Now the number 1 seed in the upcoming college football playoffs, the Hoosiers' next game is New Year's Day. But at Indiana, the joy is tempered by a fear this all could vanish as quickly as it emerged. The school vows to keep spending on football, far more than on basketball. And in hopes the coach doesn't transfer out, Indiana recently gave Cignetti an 8-year, $90 million contract, more than 15 times his compensation at his last job. Been around this sport a long time. It's a lot different now than it was when you started. Do you embrace that?
Oh, you have to embrace that. If not, you have no chance of being successful.
Doesn't matter if you like it or not, those are the rules of the road.
You got to adapt, adjust, and improvise.
Take what the defense gives you.
Attack at all times.